Do you know where you are? You're in our world.
Have you ever seen anything so full of splendor?
We have the most magical visual effects team. They really are practicing witchcraft, as Ford would say, but they do it in such a subtle way. They're not trying to showboat, and that's what gives the look of it its naturalism.
We have the best visual effects team in the business, and our hope is to never use them. We do wind up using them a lot, so the goal from the beginning is to try to put as much reality into the camera as we can. Go to the right places, shoot in the right landscape, bring the actors with you, not fake it.
They do what they're doing so naturalistically that their own fingerprints slip away, and you can't tell what's real and what's not real.
For us, VFX, while it's vital and it's a large part of the show, we never want it to be front and center.
You think of Westworld as being a science fiction, super visual effects heavy show. When you really look at it, the other things are way more important. The writing, the acting, the photography, and our job is really to get out of their way.
It's our job to make sure that story comes first and to support the story that they're trying to tell.
You make the mount a little lower and just raise the bottom of it just a tiny little bit.
Because we're building an artificial world. The collaboration with our visual effects team, led by Jay Worth, is enormously important. Begins before we shoot any of the show.
The visual effects department collaborates with everyone practically during production.
There's really almost nothing from a VFX standpoint that I can think of that is not already tied into something art department's already done, something the actors have done. The show's so grounded in reality. There's just not a whole lot of things that we're creating out of nothing.
The types of visual effects that we're executing on Westworld are a little more invisible. We shoot on location in California, so there's a lot of telephone poles and wires and houses. A lot of the stuff we do is painting that kind of thing out. Occasionally we have to bridge a scene shot in Utah with a scene shot in California, and occasionally we'll put a mesa or something in the background that will help bridge those scenes.
Visual effects on this show often takes a backseat to the greater performance of the actors and the writing.
You have a family. You have an ex-wife. You have a backstory.
And as an example of that, the tablets we use on the show, they don't work. They're just pieces of metal. On our side, what we do is we typically put little tracking marks on there so we can recreate what the actor does with it when it shows on camera. If you don't put something there, an actor will tend to just touch randomly while his eyes wander somewhere else, and it doesn't feel authentic.
The thing I was most excited about for season 2, as I think many of us were, was Shogun World.
Everything we've shot so far has just been beautiful, and it's going to be a lot of fun to complement that.
The set that they built for it was incredible. Anybody who walked on it just was stunned.
They did this amazing thing where we actually are tenting the entire street to give it a more overcast look.
We put trusses over the set and silked the entire set in so we could have this non-direct sunlight every time we shoot.
They managed to change the whole light here, made it feel like this mountaintop village in Japan somewhere.
Because of that, there's going to be a lot of sky replacement and a lot of technical things going on. But the bigger thing that VFX is doing is all of the battle sequences.
Action! The real key one within that is the Shogun himself being decapitated, and that's highly complex.
The death of the Shogun was a team effort. It was the art department, it was special effects, makeup effects.
Using a likeness head of the actor that could kind of, what we'd like to call the Pez dispenser, could flip open to the side. And we also had a stunt actor that wore the same flipped over head on his shoulder so he could stand up and walk and collapse onto the ground.
There's battles throughout this entire sequence. There's beheadings, there's sword fights.
We did a great sword fight in the middle of Shogun World, ending in a beheading.
We would have a prosthetic that someone would wear with part of the neck exposed and then a blue hood from here. So they would digitally remove the head so you could get the actor's action, get them falling, get a nice sense of gravity opposed to using a fake body.
Most of the arrow work is CG. We have practical arrows, but then we create the flying arrows in CG. As much as I tried to get real arrows, they were afraid people would get hurt, so we stuck it with CG.
The best moment for season 2 is definitely the tiger.
One of our characters that we meet in season 2 is chased by a tiger, so it's just a little bit of action.
That thing went up and down so many times in terms of how we were going to execute it.
you have a stunt performer, literally in a blue outfit, crawling around on all fours, pretending to be a tiger.
It's a process of matching the lighting and then paint them out and overlay it with the real CG tiger.
Being able to fully realize this full CG creature and have it be something that was so impactful was just awesome.
To go from that man in blue to this creature with every hair bristling in the wind and with every movement calibrated just so, it's nothing short of magical.
VFX is always well, how can we add to it? How can we sweeten it? How can we make it just that little much better to tell the story in a little bit more of an impactful way? We don't want VFX to be the cake. It always needs to be the icing. The story, the vision, the world, the characters, those should always be the real meat of the show.
Dreams don't mean anything, Dolores. They're not real.
What is real?
The irony of our show is because it's not real, it has to be real. We have to make it real so the audience feels the reality of the part.